Today's thought is challenges are what make life interesting and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. I repeat it again. Challenges are what make life interesting and overcoming them is what makes life meaningful. Good morning students. Welcome back. I hope all of you are safe and fit at home. This video is for the students of class 8th. Subject English. And today in this video we shall cover one grammar topic. This is our chapter number 3 and the name of the chapter is Verbs, Tenses. This is my lecture number 1 of the same chapter. This chapter is taken from P.C. Wren's grammar book. Students, first of all in this video we shall revise meaning, uses and differences of verbs and tenses. And after then we shall discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned you in lecture number 1 of chapter 5 talking about the future. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning of the tenses in chapter number 3 and 4. So let's have a quick recap of it. Tenses are the forms of a verb that are used to show the time of the action expressed by the verb. I repeat it again. Tenses are the forms of a verb that are used to show the time of the action expressed by the verb. Tenses tell us whether an action takes place in the past, present or future. Or in simple way, we can say that tense is a form of a verb which denotes the time of an action and its degree of completeness. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1. They are coming to school daily. Number 2. He came to hospital. Number 3. I shall come next Sunday. Notice one thing. The same verb come is used in all these sentences. But we find different forms of the verb in the sentences. The form of the verb in the first sentence, are coming, refers to present time and shows that the action is continuing. The form of the verb in the second sentence, came, refers to past time and shows that the action was completed. The form of the verb in the last sentence, shall come, refers to the future time and shows that the action will complete. The tenses used in the given sentences are: in the first sentence, present continuous tense is used. In the second sentence, simple past tense is used. And in the last sentence, future simple tense or simple future or future indefinite tense is used. Let's see how many kinds of tenses are there. Number 1, present tense. Number 2, past tense. Number 3, future tense. So there are 3 tenses: present tense, past tense and future tense. Present tense shows present time, past tense shows past time and future tense shows future time. To express the degree of completeness of any action, each tense means present tense, past tense and future tense is subdivided into 4 heads, means 4 forms. That is indefinite, continuous, perfect continuous. So, all the tenses are subdivided into 4 forms, that is indefinite, continuous, perfect and perfect continuous. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning of verbs in lecture number 1 of chapter 2. So let's have a quick recapitulation of it. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates an action or a state of being or condition. I repeat it again. A verb is a word or a combination of words that indicates an action or a state of being or condition. A verb is the part of a sentence that tells us what the subject performs. In simple way, we can say that a verb is a word used to express certain action done by somebody or something. Tense of verb. A verb also tells us about the time of an action. The tense of a verb denotes the time of an action. The present tense of a verb tells us about an action that is taking place now or an action that happens regularly. The past tense of a verb tells us about an action that took place at some time in the past. The future tense of a verb tells us about an action that will take place at some time in the future. For example, he goes. Here, the verb goes refers to the present time since it talks about present moment. Number 2, he went to circus. So here, the verb went refers to the past time since it talks about past time. A question arises. What is the meaning of forms of verbs? The answer of this question is, the form of a verb changes according to the person, number and tense. Let's see how many kinds of form of verbs are there. Number 1, that is base form, or we can say first form of the verb. It is used in simple present tense and simple future tense. Number 2, that is past tense, or we can say it second form of the verb. It is used in simple past tense. Number 3, that is past participle, or we can say it third form of the verb. It is used in all the perfect tenses, whether it is present, past or future. Last, number 4 is present participle. This form of the verb, it is used in all the continuous tenses, whether it is present, past or future. We add ing at the end of the verb. Basically, there are 6 forms of the verbs, but in your book, only 4 basic form of the verbs are given. To clarify it, let's see some examples of first form, second form and third form of a verb. Number 1, base form is ring. The past tense of ring is rang and the past participle of ring is rung. It means ring, rang, rung. Number 2, base form is built. The past tense of build is built and the past participle of build is also built. It is build, built, built. Number 3, base form is bring. The past tense of bring is brought and the past participle of bring is also brought. So it is bring, brought, brought. So these were the few examples of basic forms of verbs. Let's see how many types of verbs are there. Number 1, that is regular verbs. Number 2, that is irregular verbs. So there are two types of verbs, regular verbs and irregular verbs. Let's see what is the meaning of regular verbs. Regular verbs are the verbs that form their past and past participle forms by adding ed to the base form. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1, walk, walked, walked. So here we have mentioned all the three forms, base form, past tense and past participles, or we can say first form of the verb, second form of the verb and third form of the verb. Number 2, this word, it can be pronounced as dance and dance. Both are correct. Dance, danced, danced. Dance, danced, danced. So these were the few examples of regular verbs. Let's see how many kinds of regular verbs are there. Number 1, we add ed at the end of the base form to form their past and past participle forms. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1, call, called, called. So here you can see that call is the base form. To make the past and past participle forms, we have added ed at the end of the verb. Number 2, wait, waited, waited. The same thing we have done with wait also. Number 2, if the verb ends in a consonant and y, we change the y to I and add ed to the base form. I repeat it again. If the verb ends in a consonant and y, we change the y to I and add ed to the base form. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Marry, married, married. So marry is the base form. To make the past and past participle forms, what we have did, we have removed y and instead of y, we have add I plus ed at the end of the verb. Number 2, study, studied, studied. The same thing we have done with study also. Number 3, if a verb ends in e, we simply add d to the base form. I repeat it again. If a verb ends in e, we simply add d at the end of the base verb. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Hate, hated, hated. So here the base form is hate. To make the past and past participle forms, we have added d at the end of the base form. Number 2, like, liked, liked. The same thing we have done with like also. So these were the 3 kinds of regular verbs with examples. Let's see what is the meaning of irregular verbs. Irregular verbs make their past and past participle forms in different ways by a change of vowel or consonant or by a change of both. I repeat it again. Irregular verbs make their past and past participle forms in different ways by a change of a vowel or consonant or by a change of both. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1. Eat, ate, eaten. So here you can see that eat is a base form, ate is a past tense and eaten is a past participle. And all the three forms are different. Number 2. Burn, burnt, burnt. So here burn is a base form, burnt is a past tense and again burned, it is past participle form. You can see that two forms are same, only one form is different. So these were the examples of irregular verbs. To clarify the meaning of irregular verbs, let's see how many kinds of irregular verbs are there. Number 1. All the three forms are the same. I repeat it again. All the three forms are the same. Means base form, past tense and past participle. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Number 1. Put, put, put. Number 2. Coast, coast, coast. So here in these examples you can see that all the three forms, base form, past tense and past participle, all are same. Number 2. Two of the three forms are the same. I repeat it again. Two of the three forms are the same. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Sit, sat, sat. So in this example, you can see that past tense and past participle, they both are same. Number 2. Come, came, come. In this example, you can see that base form and past participle, they both are same. Number 3. All the three forms are different. I repeat it again. All the three forms are different. To clarify it, let's see some examples. Drink, drank, drunk. So here you can see that the base form, present tense and past participle, all the three forms are different. Number 2. Write, wrote, written. So in this example also all the three forms are different. So these were the few examples to clarify what is the meaning of irregular verbs and how many kinds of irregular verbs are there. So there are 3 irregular verbs. Now let's see what is the difference between regular verbs and irregular verbs. Number 1. Regular verbs follow a regular conjugation pattern, while irregular verbs do not follow a regular conjugation pattern. To clarify it, let me tell you what is the meaning of conjugation in English grammar. Conjugation is the changing of a verb's form to express a different person, number, tense, aspect or gender. I repeat it again. Conjugation is the changing of a verb's form to express a different person, number, tense, aspect or gender. Verb conjugation have various forms according to the different English verb tenses. English verb conjugation changes with regular and irregular verbs. Number 2. Regular verbs form their past tense and past participle by adding ed to their endings, while irregular verbs do not form their past tense and past participle by adding ed to their endings. Number 3. Regular verbs have the same form for the past tense and past participle, while irregular verbs can have either different forms or same forms for past tense and past participle. So these were the differences of regular verbs and irregular verbs. Students, as we have already discussed the meaning, uses, types, identification or structure and forms of tenses in chapter number 4 and 5. So let's have a recapitulation of all the tenses with their forms with examples and explanation. Simple present tense. For example, I write a letter. Here, the form of the verb write refers to simple present tense and it is used to indicate actions that take place regularly. Present continuous tense. For example, I am writing a letter. Here, the form of the verb am writing refers to present continuous tense and it is used to indicate an action that is taking place at the moment. Present perfect tense. For example, I have written a letter. Here, the form of the verb have written refers to the present perfect tense. It is used to refer to a recent action which has an effect on the present. Present perfect continuous tense. For example, I have been writing a letter for 1 hour. Here, the form of the verb have been writing refers to the present perfect continuous tense. It is used to denote an action started in the past and still continues in the present. Simple past tense. For example, I wrote a letter. Here, the form of the verb wrote refers to the simple present tense and it is used to refer to an action completed in the past. Past continuous tense. For example, I was writing a letter. Here, the form of the verb was writing refers to the past continuous tense and it is used to denote actions that were taking place for some time in the past. Past perfect tense. For example, I had written a letter. Here the form of the verb had written refers to the past perfect tense and it is used to indicate which of the two actions in the past took place first. Past perfect continuous tense. For example, I had been writing a letter for an hour. Here, the form of the verb had been writing refers to the past perfect continuous tense and it is used to refer to an action that took place continuously for a longer time in the past. Simple future tense. For example, I shall write a letter. Here, the form of the verb shall write refers to the simple future tense and it is used to indicate an action that will happen in the future. Future continuous tense. For example, I will or shall be writing a letter. Here, the form of the verb will or shall be writing refers to the future continuous tense and it is used to refer to an unfinished action or event that will be in progress in the future. Future perfect tense. For example, I will or shall have written a letter. Here, the form of the verb will or shall have written refers to the future perfect tense, and it is used to refer to an action that will be over in the future. Future perfect continuous tense. For example, I have been writing for 1 hour by the end of this lecture. Here, the form of the verb have been writing refers to the future perfect continuous tense, and it is used to show that something will continue until a particular event or time in the future. Now here in this table you can see that the same verb write is used in all these sentences, but we find different forms of verbs and tenses in the sentences. Children, you have to complete your homework on the basis of the understanding of the topic explained by me. And your homework is revise chapter 3, that is verbs, tenses, from the book or video, and based on the understanding of the topic, do exercise mentioned in the book PC Wren's Grammar as. Page number 26, exercise number 1. Students, since you are not having your PC Wren's Grammar book with you, so here in this video I have mentioned your homework in detail. Exercise number 1, which is on page number 26 in your PC Wren's Grammar book. Name the tense of each of the verbs in the following sentences. Number 1. The river flows under the bridge. Number 2. I will answer the letter this afternoon. Number 3. It has been raining all day. Number 4. I had finished when he came. Number 5. I have lived here for 6 years. Number 6. By this time tomorrow, I will have reached my home. Number 7. He said he had finished his work. Number 8. I will be flying to Singapore at this time tomorrow. Number 9. I was having a bath or bathe when the phone rang. Here, both the pronunciations are correct. Number 10. We have been waiting for the bus since 4:30. So students, if you are having your PC Wren's Grammar book with you, then you have to complete your homework in the book only. If you don't have your book, then you have to complete your homework in the fair notebook or on an A4 size sheet. Now let's discuss the homework solution of the homework which was assigned to you in lecture number 1 of chapter 5, talking about the future. Students, you have to complete your homework on the basis of the topic explained by me. And your homework is revise future tense from the book or video, and based on the understanding of the topic, do exercises mentioned in the book PC Wren's Grammar as. Page number 35, exercise number 1 and 2. Let's discuss the exercises in detail. Exercise number 1. Choose the correct or more suitable forms of the verbs to fill in the blanks. Number 1. The train dash at 8:20. Answer is lives. Here, the simple present tense is used to talk about the future based on official timetables. Number 2. We dash to Hyderabad tomorrow. Answer is are going. Here, the present continuous tense is used to talk about people's plans or arrangements for the future. Number 3. It is late. I think I dash to bed now. Answer is will go. Here, simple future tense is used when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. Number 4. Who is arranging the party? Mohan dash it. Answer is going to do. Here, going to form is used to talk about things which we have already decided to do. Number 5. Tea or coffee? I dash coffee. Answer is will have. Here, simple future tense is used when we decide to do something at the time of speaking. Number 6. I dash to Delhi at this time tomorrow. Answer is will be flying. Here, future continuous tense is used when the future action is the result of a previous decision or arrangement. Number 7. The boat is full of water. It dash. Answer is going to sink. Here, the going to form is used to talk about what seems to be likely or certain when there is some evidence for it now. Exercise number 2. Combine the following pairs by changing them into the future perfect tense. One has done for you. The children will eat all the chocolates. Clue is before their mother comes. Answer is the children will have eaten all the chocolates before their mother comes. Number 2. The fire will destroy the whole forest. Clue is before the firemen arrive. Answer is the fire will have destroyed the whole forest before the firemen arrive. Number 3. The patient will die. Clue is before the doctor arrives. Answer is the patient will have died before the doctor arrives. Number 4. Samita will leave. Clue is before you reach her place. Answer is Samita will have left before you reach her place. Number 5. We will pay back all our debts. Clue is before we leave this place. Answer is we will have paid back all our debts before we leave this place. In these sentences, future perfect tense is used to talk about an action that will be completed before another action take place. So, this is the end of the lecture. At last, I would like to say that complete your homework in neat and clean handwriting by following the correct format in book or in notebook. Students, if you like our videos, then don't forget to hit on the like button and subscribe the channel. Thank you and have a nice day.